Good evening. Welcome to the State of Business on our television with me, Kavish Pereira. Let's take a look at today's headlines. Faith of a country cannot be put at risk due to acts of extremists, says President. The UN General Assembly gathers to commemorate victims of the Easter Sunday attacks. News in detail. President Maithripala Sirisena says that faith of a whole nation cannot be put at stake due to the actions of a handful of extremist individuals. The president made these remarks during a meeting held with the Islamic civil society leaders at the president's house yesterday. The Islamic civil society leaders stressed that the traditional Islamic community does not accept such barbaric acts and traditional Islamic people live in harmony and cooperation with other religious communities. They also expressed their concern regarding the attitude of the public towards the Islamic community due to the Easter Sunday terror attacks which were perpetrated by extremists, and suggestions were presented in order to build peace and reconciliation between all ethnic groups. Thus, they extended their fullest cooperation to the security forces' operations to eliminate terrorism and expressed their strong dedications to control and seize every possibility for emergence of extremism. A commemorative event for the victims of the Easter Sunday terror attacks in Sri Lanka was held on Friday, 3rd May 2019 at the General Assembly Hall of the United Nations headquarters in New York. The event to honor the victims, their families and all those affected by the Easter Sunday attacks on 21st April 2019 was co-organized by the Office of the President of the General Assembly and the Permanent Mission of Sri Lanka to the United Nations. The meeting was chaired by the President of the General Assembly with Amina Mohammed, Deputy Secretary General, in attendance. A large number of member states, UN officials and special invitees attended the event, with the states taking the floor to express condolences and extend their support to the government of Sri Lanka. Maria Fernanda Espinosa Garces, President of the 73rd session of the General Assembly, in her opening statement expressed her solidarity with Sri Lanka during these trying times. Amina Mohammed, Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, in her remarks expressed sorrow that places of worship have become the playground of terrorists. She also stated that the world is seeing a dangerous rise in intolerance and racism and highlighted the work of the UN to combat terrorism and extremism through addressing hate speech and ensuring safety of religious sites. Ambassador Dr. Rohan Pereira in his statement noted that these inhuman and cruel acts on the holiest of days for Christians were debased in their cruelty and in the locations carried out when devotees had closed their eyes in prayer and as tourists were enjoying a celebratory breakfast. Sri Lankan Airlines, the national carrier of Sri Lanka and a member of the prestigious One World Alliance, has appointed Joshua Bustos as its Chief Commercial Officer and Shaminda Samarveera as its Chief Financial Officer with effect from April this year. Joshua Bustos is an internationally experienced senior-level airline executive with over 20 years of experience. He has held several key positions in leading organizations including American Airlines, Spirit Airlines, South African Airways, Tiger Airways, Sabre Airline Solutions, Safi Airways and KPMG. He was on the Network Sounding Board and Revenue Management Advisory Board at Star Alliance during his tenure at South African Airways. Chief Financial Officer Shaminda Samarveera holds more than 15 years of senior-level corporate experience in many industries including telecommunications, banking and navigation. He has held key positions in leading corporate entities such as Etisalat Lanka Private Limited, Ceylon Tobacco Company plc, Dialog Axiata plc and Navtech North America. The Oxford Business Group has signed a memorandum of understanding with private infrastructure development group company Infraco Asia, an infrastructure development and investment firm focused on stimulating greater private sector investment in infrastructure development in South and Southeast Asia. Under the agreement, OBG will partner with Infraco Asia to gain insight into infrastructure industry and project investment opportunities in regional frontier markets. This information will become part of OBG's platforms and editorial content, providing OBG readers and subscribers with an even greater depth and scope of coverage on infrastructure-related topics. The MOU was signed ahead of an infrastructure-themed roundtable which took place at the Tower Club in Singapore on March 1, 2019. Oxford Business Group is a global research and consultancy company with a presence in over 30 countries from the Middle East, Africa and Asia to the Americas, a distinctive and respected provider of on-the-ground intelligence on over 30 of the world's fastest-growing markets for sound investment opportunities and business decisions. Stay tuned for more news after this short commercial break. Welcome back. Speaking at a press briefing held yesterday, Chairman of the Sri Lanka Association of Inbound Tour Operators, Harit Pereira, expressed the following on the impact travel advisories have on the tourism industry in Sri Lanka.
From a slighter perspective, as a direct mediator between the destination and the tour operator and agent, I think we need a tough job to convince them to relook at Sri Lanka due to these travel advisories. Most of the agents, tour operators we speak to love Sri Lanka. They genuinely love Sri Lanka and they can't wait till they start selling Sri Lanka again. But since last July, the insurance companies are reluctant to feature when there are travel advisories. Due to this effect, many of the big tour operators, medium to big tour operators are not selling Sri Lanka. But the largest tour operator in the world has cancelled all tours to Sri Lanka, even for winter. So the insurance and the travel advisories is a key challenge we need to overcome somehow. But for us to do that, in a situation where the country becomes top priority, we need to ensure the safety and security of all citizens and our tourists. That need to be established first.
Sanath Ukwata, President of the Hotels Association of Sri Lanka, expressed the following regarding requests made to the Sri Lankan government in order to help revive the tourism industry from the impact of the Easter Sunday attacks.
With the current travel bans, evacuations and negative publicity in the international media, we believe it will take a long period of time for the hotel sector to recover. Due to the gravity of the situation, the hotel industry is on the verge of a total collapse, which may result in many people losing their employment and livelihoods. The hotel industry has requested for assistance from the government to help sustain this important industry to avoid any loss of employment and see its return to normalcy. Our appeals to the government are a clear, comprehensive report to the local and international media with an update on the results of security measures so far, security measures in place at the moment, and how you are looking at securing the country in the future. An update to the foreign governments that has imposed travel bans so that they can consider relaxing the travel advisories.
Speaking exclusively to our television, Sanath Ukwata had this to say.
We have asked for complete interest waiver for a period of 1 year on our loans which are taken for the hotel industry, and then a 2-year moratorium of capital repayment, and thereafter a concessionary interest rate on the balance outstanding interest and capital. So basically a rescheduling of all loans and interests for a period of 2 years. And thereafter we have also requested the government to consider giving our employees who have taken loans also a similar relief, like a 2-year moratorium and interest and capital to be capitalized, and for repayment to start after end of second year. And also a duty-free waiver on imports of security equipment that now today we are compelled to import to enhance hotel security.
Sanath Ukwata also expressed confidence that the tourism industry in Sri Lanka will bounce back within 2 years despite the setback it suffered due to the terror attacks on Easter Sunday.
Actually, I can't give an exact time frame for the recovery. If you compare ourselves to other countries where similar bombings have taken place, those countries have taken 1.5 to 2 years to get back into the original form. So we believe it will take 1.5 to 2 years for us to get back where we started. So it's an uphill task, but nevertheless we are very optimistic. People have a lot of faith in our industry and our country because we have a fantastic foundation for tourism. We have all the attractions, we have the best beaches. In a small country like ours, we have the wildlife, we have culture, we have a lot of sites to visit, UNESCO declared sites. So, and the friendly people on top of all that. So I think our country has all the essence for tourism. So we have, with our geographical location being so close proximity to 60% of the world's population, I think we don't have big problems in getting our numbers together. And so we are very optimistic.
Stay tuned for stock updates after this short commercial break. Welcome back. Trading at the Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today. The All-Share Price Index dropped 3.73 points to close at 5,382.54, and the S&P/SL 20 dropped 21.89 points to close at 2,565.31. The turnover was 333.2 million rupees, and 11.1 million shares were traded. Next up is Forex rates. Well, that's a wrap of the bulletin for the day, signing off with a promise for tomorrow at the same time with nothing but the latest. Thank you and good night.